Today on Guess What I Found Out? Two rocks. That's where this starts. Two rocks over 2,600 years ago that broke physics open and still haven't let it close. One was a heavy black stone that pulled iron without touching it. The other was petrified tree sap that, when you rubbed it on fur, picked up feathers and dust out of thin air. And for the next 2.5 millennia, the greatest minds in human history desperately tried to figure out how. The black stone was lodestone, a naturally occurring magnet. The petrified sap was amber. The Greeks had a word for amber electron. You can already see where this is going. Here was the problem. In a world where nothing moved unless something pushed it, these two rocks moved things without touching them. Action at a distance. It was philosophically intolerable. So the ancient Greeks did what humans do when they hit something inexplicable. They reached for the closest analogy that made sense. First analogy, life. The rocks had souls. They wanted to pull iron. This was a reasonable inference from observation. Second analogy, smell. Invisible particles like tiny keys fit into pores in iron. That's why iron was attracted, but wood wasn't. The elegance, tiny invisible keys fitting tiny invisible locks. Not crazy, just wrong. Now for the third analogy, suction. Drawing inspiration from medical cupping glasses, which created a vacuum to pull blood through the skin, people thought that lodestone somehow created a pull, a bit like negative pressure. And then the fourth analogy, wind. Chinese natural philosophers, you see, proposed an invisible breath, a life energy they called Kai, flowing outward from compass needles and acting on them at a distance. But, well, none of these explanations were quite right. Still, they were the best thinking available at the time. That's really worth sitting with for a second, isn't it? The world was changing rapidly, and